What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Royal Key there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill, and I'm here at Northwestern with my guy, Charlie Mangieri. Charlie, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is one of the greatest facilities that I've seen in the country. The floor-to-ceiling windows are amazing. You guys have beaches. Like, who does that?
The biggest part of the beach is like in the summertime. You got everybody. We got bags going on out there. We got spike ball. It's just a good place to relax. And then obviously after relaxing, you can get some film that we'll be able to see and meeting in the team room and then the locker room, obviously. So it's just a good place all around.
Now, you're the perfect person to interview for this. You've been here
6 years.
So you know this place like the back of your hand.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna follow your lead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you around. It's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. So where are we right now? Tell me what happens in this area.
Yeah, right now we're in the team auditorium. This is pretty much where all of our practices get started off. Up there, we got our Northwestern values, kind of the cornerstones, talking about attitude and investment. Without those, everything else kind of falls off. And then obviously on the right side, we got the goals: prepare for victory, win the West, win the Big Ten championship, and then win our bowl game.
So how are you guys usually divided in this? Because we've never seen like a double-decker.
As you see here, like we got the double-decker room. There's like a window that'll go down and then we'll split. Usually the defense is up there. They'll do their D unit meetings, and then this will fall down as well, and we got our offensive unit meetings. So depending on what we're trying to talk about game planning at the beginning of the week, that's kind of how it'll set up, and then we'll go from there. So the team room, you're really only in there for like 5-10 minutes a morning, and then the rest of the time you're in there for like an hour and a half, depending on how much time's allotted for you. So a lot of the time is spent in here, and then extra time, whatever kind of film study you're trying to do on your own or with your position group outside of coaches and whatnot, you'll be doing it in here or back at home on the iPad. So a lot of time spent in here.
Okay, Charlie, I would only work out over there if I was in here.
It's the best view in the country right there. Obviously, you see the weights all the time. During the season, we're kind of just getting more prehab movements and just kind of moving around, not to get too sore. And then obviously in the off season, this is where we get most of the work in. I think we got the best strength and conditioning staff in the country. So we spend a lot of time in here, probably the most time in the off season here, kind of just getting to know the guys and everything. So it's a great time in here.
Coming in as a freshman, since you didn't see the previous facility, what was the initial reaction for you and other, incoming freshmen and seeing this entire facility?
I mean, it's crazy. I think the biggest memory I had was seeing like all the older guys walk in, their kind of faces, because I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, you see this and you're kind of getting pictures of it during the recruiting process, but all these guys walked in and like, oh my God, like this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. This is kind of what they worked for, and we're kind of just trying to continue the tradition that they set for us. All right, so now we're here in the Players Lounge. This is probably where we spend a good amount of our time outside of the weight room. We got a mural painted by a former player that kind of just sets the tone for the rest of the Players Lounge. And then you follow out, we got a lot of games. We got the pop-a shot. The guys will put up shots, make a little competition out of it, keep the competitive juices flowing. And then we got the latest and greatest video games. You got the PS5 and the Xbox One. So guys will get competitive playing there as well. And then behind you, we got the outdoor deck that gets utilized a lot, kind of just soak in the views that you see here. I mean, we're surrounded by a whole lot of water, great views, either see the sunrise or sunset. So it's probably one of the better Players Lounge you see. The views are incredible.
Now, as far as the activities in here, you just kind of ran them down a little bit.
Yep.
What would you say, I guess, if you could rank them, top 3 things to do in this Player Lounge that you guys do?
I'd probably say ping pong's a big one, for sure. And you'll get on the video games. I know FIFA's big these days, and then probably pop a shot. So now we're at the field house. This is where most of our off-season work gets put in, like the conditioning wise. Obviously, you know the Chicago winters get pretty rough, so we'll do a lot of the running around there, and then obviously spring ball practices as well. So this is another spot where a lot of our time gets spent, a lot of extra work, position drills and whatnot that kind of go outside the time frame of when we can work with coaches. So it's definitely one of the better spots in all the facility. With that being said, I'm gonna pass you to my guy, Thomas Gordon, 5th-year tight end, one of my best buddies on the team. So hope you guys enjoy his time.
So right now we're in the training table. Right outside is the terrace that overlooks all of campus, City of Chicago in the back. And this is where we all come to eat after we finish workouts, not ready to go to class, after practice, just for some fellowship and communication with other student athletes, especially our teammates.
Awesome. And from this vantage point, you said the Chicago skyline, you have the lake right there. Where's everything else as far as the campus?
So right here is the Kellogg School of Business. It's where I'll also be going to school next year. And you have the comm building. This is our women's soccer field, lacrosse field, field hockey field. And then you have the Lakeville area with a lagoon in the middle where a lot of people come and like hang out, go for walks and stuff like that. So you can kind of see a lot of different stuff through campus from this spot right here.
Now in here, I'm seeing some delicious plates kind of pass by me. What is the go-to meal in here for you? And then also just for your teammates?
The go-to meal for me would probably be chicken parm or the salmon days. One of my favorite ones, and one of my teammates love, is the stir fry day, which people go absolutely like nuts for. It's kind of mix and match what you want in there, different sauces, stuff like that. But that's probably the go-to favorite thing.
This is not only a locker room, obviously, cornhole going on, but is this a space where the team kind of gets together before games, kind of, hanging out, talking over the game? What happens in here?
Basically, we spend a majority of our day in here. If you don't have class till 2 and you don't want to go home, people just hang out in here after workouts, before workouts. So a lot of camaraderie happens in here. This is where a team becomes a team.
Charlie's locker versus your locker, who's cleaner?
I would say my locker is probably cleaner. Okay. He might disagree, but definitely not the dirtiest locker on the team, so that's good.
That's cool. Let's check it out, man. Let's check it out. What do you have in here?
It's not too bad. Right now, I have my coats down here. Need coats here. I'm from Texas, so when I first got here, it was tough. I know you're from Houston too. I got some shoes down here, hats, and then I got a bunch of cleats up here. That's where I keep a lot of my cleats, and then just all my extracurricular clothes down here.
What is the favorite as far as the combination, the uniform combination?
I would say the Gothic uniforms, which is Gothic jersey, Gothic pants, then Gothic helmets. Those are cool. And also going to black, white, black is also like one of our favorite spots. So.
What's the significance of the Gothic?
The Gothic uniforms embody the university. The university has a lot of Gothic architecture throughout in the buildings, some of the different communication buildings, stuff like that. We basically embody that in our uniform, and it looks really cool, and we love wearing that. It's been featured on a bunch of like uniform Instagram pages and stuff like that, so we're happy to wear those.
Okay, Thomas, this is like a recurring theme. I keep saying it, like the facility is amazing, the views are insane. Is this one of the better areas in the entire facility?
This is, because you got the beach right here. Looking over the beach is pretty insane to me while I'm doing rehab. I mean, if rehab's not going well one day and it's sunny, I see the beach, I just know I have the beach to go to after. It's not a bad deal, just walk right out there, put my swimsuit on. But yeah, it's pretty nice. This is one of the better spots here.
I see the pool back there as well. Do you guys do cold, hot? And then what is your favorite of those?
Yeah, we'll do cold and hot. I love doing the cold, kind of reset the body a little bit. And then sometimes I've had lower body injuries, so we'll hit the hydrotherapy pool. It's like a water treadmill, kind of get back going so you don't put all the weight on it. So that's like one of the better things we have here too. But like kind of going back from the cold and hot tub is a fan favorite from the guys.
All right, Thomas, when is it popping out here the most, man?
This time of the year it gets big, and I'd say around like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, sun's fully out. This place will be completely packed, and it's not a bad time to be here when that happens.
How often is the team working out here?
Usually every summer we'll get like one full workout out here where we just kind of like warm up and do everything, all of our drills out here, which is like one of the better days, and then everyone hops in the lake after. But usually during the summer, if a lot of people are working out in the morning like we do, a lot of guys will hit the beach, get a little tan in, and also hit the water, so it's not a bad time.
And take student athletes out of this, just students, period. Like, is this just like a very popular spot to just hang out?
Yeah, that's the #1 beach for students to go to, which is really cool. Kind of get interact, student athlete to students. It's not a bad deal.
Okay, Eric, I've seen floor-to-ceiling windows everywhere.
Yep.
The weather looks amazing. However, I do know that in the wintertime, it gets really cold here. Very cold, snowing, wind, everything. How do you keep these guys warm? Because, every school doesn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, so from an off the field standpoint, we offer the guys vests, winter coats. We do 2 travel suits. So early in the year, we'll do a lightweight, kind of heat related travel suit. Later in the year, give them something a little bit thicker, a little bit more weather resistant. So that's like this example here. Something that's a little bit more rain resistant to kind of help with obviously the wind and the rain as we get later in the year. They'll get several hoodies throughout the course of the year, whether it's their late travel suit or just a kind of a kick around hoodie or a travel hoodie, if you will. On field, we offer cold gear, whether it's the mocks, cold gear tights, shiesties, if some guys will refer to them as, but the balaclavas to kind of keep their ears, their neck warm, winter hats, and then cold gear muffs and hot heads.
When you're coming to a game, right, and you're preparing, for a game in regular weather, I call it regular weather, that's non-cold, versus this type of, what is the process of kind of getting everything together?
Yeah, the biggest difference is we're gonna pack everything as if it's a regular weather game and then add the cold gear on top of it. Right, so for all of our players, with the exception of our O and D line, we'll offer the muffs. They have the option to wear. Most guys usually don't, but usually our ball carriers, maybe some DBs will wear them. We do have hot hands, so when the temperature reaches a certain point, we're just going to put them in guys' locker and let them determine if they're going to wear them or not. And then again, everyone's going to have cold gear. We do have cold weather gloves for our guys as well, so they have the option to wear that. A lot of guys will wear latex underneath their gloves as an additional layer of insulation. And then on the on the sideline, we have heated benches, and then we also have capes. So we'll do just about anything we can to keep those guys warm, ready to go.
What do you do about the recruits that are from the South?
We have it ready for them when they get here. You know, that's a question that we get a lot in recruiting. You know, and our recruiting department does a great job of making sure when they're here on their visits, you know, they have winter coats, hats and gloves for them. So again, that they understand like this is something that we do take into consideration, but it's also something that we offer as a program to our guys when they get here.